Hi, I want to talk to you a little bit about the benefits and risks of therapy and the process of therapy. So, when someone decides to come in for therapy, it's often because something has happened, maybe a triggering event, or it may be something that's been going on for a while and there's just enough emotional distress that you've decided it's time to come in and address it. So, let's take one of my specialties. Maybe you are a survivor of sexual assault and you have triggers. You might be out grocery shopping and you walk by the deodorant aisle to pick up your deodorant and you smell the deodorant of the person who assaulted you. And all of a sudden, the emotions become overwhelming and you can't finish your grocery trip. You have to leave the store and it really disrupts your day. So often, when people come into counseling, it's to address different emotional distress. So, one of the things to be aware of, one of the risks of counseling, is that it isn't uncommon for things to feel worse before they feel better, okay? Because often with triggering events like that, you are going about your life, everything is okay. You know, you kind of stuff down the memories and the thoughts and the emotions and the things you don't want to think about, and then something happens and out of your control, it interrupts your day, like the example of the grocery shopping trip. So when you come to counseling, you're not stuffing it down anymore. All of a sudden, you're in this space where you're talking about these really uncomfortable emotions, and it can bring more up. And like I said, it can feel worse before it feels better. The other area that I work with is couples. So similarly, couples might be going about their day-to-day life and relationship, and everything can feel pretty status quo, and then something happens, and there's a big fight. And then it gets brushed over, things go well for a few days, a few weeks, however long that period is for you, and then something happens and there's a big explosion again. So you think, it's time to go to counseling, these are happening too often, we need to address it. And you come in and all of a sudden you're really talking about the issues of the relationship and you're digging deep with those emotions that sometimes feel easier to stuff. So definitely that is the risk of counseling. It's hard to talk about some of those deeper emotions. I like to use the analogy of cleaning out your junk closet. So you go to your closet and you need your hat and you pull out your hat and everything comes tumbling down because it's all been smushed in there, and the tennis racket comes and hits you on the head and it causes a delay to your day. You have to stuff it all back in there. You're stressed out. You're running late. So you decide finally, I'm going to clean out this junk closet. Like, I'm tired of dealing with this. At the least opportune times, things come tumbling out. I get a big bump on my head. So you start pulling everything out, and a few hours into it, you look around and you're in the middle of a total mess. You're like, why did I even start this? So, and I'm sure most of you have had that experience if you've ever cleaned out the junk closet, the junk drawer, wherever it is that you stuff things. So you work through things, you get rid of things that you don't need anymore, the things that you love, you find a place for, and there are things that have an emotional attachment. So you decide to keep those, and it might bring up sad, melancholy emotions, it might bring up happy, joyous emotions, but it's something you're attached to. So you get everything put neatly back in there, and then at the time that you want to deal with something that maybe is a sad emotion from the past, a sad memory, you make the choice of pulling it out of your closet and going through it. And the times that you just want to rush out the door and grab your hat, you can do that too. You don't have to deal with everything that comes pouring out. So similarly, with counseling, the goal is to give you control of your emotions. Emotions aren't a bad thing. I always tell everyone, watch the movie Inside Out. I love that movie, talking about the benefits of emotions, which can feel really scary. But the emotions themselves aren't scary. It's what we do with those emotions that can be scary. So that's a little bit about the process of therapy and what you can expect when you come to therapy. So every therapy session, I would love to say you're going to leave feeling so much better, and oftentimes you will. But there are times that you will leave and say, oh my God, that was rough. I talked about some things that are going to have me thinking for a little while and working through this. But that's why you're here. So that's it for today. Thanks.